Is artificial intelligence going to take over the world someday? Maybe, I don't know. What I do know is that AI can be a very powerful tool for photo editing. There's a new function in Photoshop called Generative AI, and I've been using it a bit for macro photography. Hi, by the way, my name is Joe, and I'm a macro photographer. That means I take large pictures of really small things. And today I thought I'd show you some real-life use cases for AI in photo editing. So how do I use the generative AI function in Photoshop? I have 4 use cases that I want to show you. And those 4 use cases get more and more ridiculous as we go along. We'll start off with everyday photo editing, nothing special there, but at the end we'll reach a level that's just insane. So let's take a closer look at the 4 use cases for AI in macro photography. The first use case is fixing focus stacks. As a macro photographer, I often take multiple pictures of one insect or one spider, and then I stitch those images together to create one image with a deeper focus or with a larger depth of field. And that's what I've done with this jumping spider munching on a bug. I've already stacked the image. However, when you focus stack, oftentimes you need to clean up the image afterwards. So this is the jumping spider, and he's munching on this insect. And there are a few problems with this image. I already have a layer called problems, so I can show you the problems that I have. If you find it confusing, my Photoshop is in German, by the way, because I'm in Germany. So my laptop is German, my Photoshop is German, my camera is German. So here are the problems that I see in this image that need some fixing and retouching. The first obvious problem is there's a piece of the frame missing on the left. That's normal when you stack images because they don't overlap perfectly. The same problem goes for this down here. This artifact is completely normal for a stacked image and needs to be fixed. It could be fixed by just cropping the image in a little bit, but AI will fix it for me. Then there are some more problems in this image. If we take a closer look, you can see there is a whole sliver of the photo. This entire line here that's not in focus. And the reason this isn't in focus is there's an image missing from the focus stack. So when I took the individual images for this stack, I missed a millimeter, and that millimeter is now not in focus. So there's information missing in the image. And this part is definitely needs some fixing. Let's see, there was more. I already looked at this image earlier. Yeah, obviously here around the leg, there are places that are just not in focus, and this is also not completely in focus. So these are some things that I would definitely want to fix with this image. The way generative AI in Photoshop works is very simple. You just highlight and part of your image, and you tell Photoshop what you want to have in that part of the image. So I could just tell Photoshop to render some ants right there in that square. And obviously this is going to look totally strange, but just to show you how this works, Photoshop will now, or the AI behind the generative AI, see, it will just generate an ant, and it looks completely insane, obviously. However, this can be used to fix the problems that I have in this image. So if we highlight the missing part of the image and tell Photoshop to fill it generatively, then it will fill that part of the frame, and it works just fine. The same goes for the artifact down here. I've already prepared this because I didn't want to wait for the generative fill to do its thing, but it can just fill that up perfectly. It just knows what is missing from the image and generates new information, which is amazing. Now, if we go into the more nitty-gritty detailed part and take a look at the missing parts on the jumping spider's head, that's where it gets a little more interesting, because the same game can be played. The generative AI will simply fill these spots for me if I click generate. Again, I already prepared this image. There you go. It just fills it in. These are things that I would normally have to fix with the clone stamping tool. It's doable, but it's a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. And the same goes for the problems down here with the right leg where there is focus missing. Generative AI fixes it. It also caused a new problem by just erasing some hair around here, but that can also be fixed with one more step. And then the last thing in this image that I find a little bit annoying is this blurry spot here on the edge. There's just information missing, and generative AI can fix that. So overall, the image is already much better. The generative AI is a very useful tool to fix problems that you get when you stack multiple images of an insect. This increases the efficiency and the speed of the workflow tremendously. Instead of having to go in and use the clone stamp tool and fix everything individually, which takes hours sometimes, I can just let the AI take care of it for me. And that's an absolute game changer for me. I use this all the time now, and I don't think there's any problem with using AI in this way. It's still the photo I took, it's still the spider that I saw. All I'm doing is cleaning up the mess that the Focus Stack software created when I stacked the images. The next use case for AI in macro photography is extending the frame. Fixing focus stacks is already pretty useful, but extending the frame is an absolute game changer for me. So what do I mean by extending the frame? It's quite simple, really. Say I have an image, let's take a look. Yeah, like the ant. I have this ant, and I want to post this image to Instagram. The best way to post images on Instagram is in a 4:5 crop. That way you use the real estate that Instagram gives you in the best way. And I always have this problem that I take a picture and I want to crop it down to 4:5 like this ant. However, the way this image looks now, if I crop it, you can see I'll either end up cutting off the antenna or the leg or both. Either way, I don't like the image if it's cropped like this. So I can just extend the frame and create the crop that I need for the image for Instagram, say like this. Now with the generative AI, I can simply highlight the top and tell Photoshop to extend the frame. See? There you go. The frame has been extended. The options don't really make a difference with an out of focus background, but that's how easy it is. And then I can do the same thing for the bottom part of the image as well. Yeah, and there you go. It really is that simple. And now I have an image. Let me zoom out a little bit more. There you go. That I can just post to Instagram, and it will work out just fine. See, it's a 4:5 crop. That's everything I need. Some of you seeing this might already be thinking, hey, isn't that kind of cheating? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I'm generating new information that isn't there, but it feels like I'm just cropping the image. And I don't think that you can consider this cheating. We can try another example. Yeah, this spider, for example. This is a bit more challenging for Photoshop because, as you can see, there's a little piece of leg missing down here that will need to be extended. There is a piece of leg missing, and the background isn't completely out of focus. There's more information here. So this should be a more challenging image. So what will happen? We'll do the top first. There's nothing too crazy about generating the top. There you go. That looks, yeah, pretty much perfect. Now the question is, what will Photoshop do with the bottom part of this image where there are little pieces of the leg missing? There you go. That works pretty well. You see, now that is an image with a nice composition. I'm going to ask the question again. Is that cheating? That was a collaboration between the AI and me, but together we created something that's fake. There's no other way to put it. The bottom piece of this image is not real. That piece of leg is not real. Did it look like that? Absolutely. But I created it. Or the AI created it. Can I post this? Can I post this on Instagram? By the way, I'm going to post it on Instagram. Can I post this on Instagram and say, hey, this is a photo I took? Or should I tell people, hey, this is a photo I took and then I enhanced it and recropped it using AI? Where exactly do we draw the line between authentic photography and fake photography? Realism and illusion? What do we want to call it? I don't know. But I like the image that I have here. I like the way it's cropped for Instagram. That should work out really well. And it's definitely something I'm going to post. There is another image where I want to extend the frame. This one. I've already posted this. And when I posted it, what I did is I posted it. Wait, how did I crop it? I cropped it as a square, I think like this. Again, this image is exactly what I want. I like the composition, how it is. This is an image that I'm very happy with. However, for Instagram, I would like to change the aspect ratio of the image and go for 4:5. And then the image would probably look something like this. And again, all I have to do is highlight the top, generate the information that I need. There you go. And then highlight the bottom and also just generate the information that I need. And that's that. Now I have an image that I can post to Instagram. Again, is it cheating? I don't think so. With an image like this one with the bee or the ant, I really don't see any problem in extending the frame. With the spider, it's a little bit more tricky, and that's why we're going to move on to the next use case, where things get really tricky. Is this still photography, or have we started cheating now? Because the next use case I want to talk about are missing elements in photos. And there's levels to this. So the first thing I'd like to show you is this image is a beautiful image, right? The butterfly flying towards the poppy flower, surrounded by colorful flowers. But here's the thing, this image isn't real. The butterfly is real. I took this image. This is what the image actually looks like. It's okay. I like this image. However, I don't like the composition that much because there's a piece of the flower missing here, and I don't like the colors. It's a bit, it's not as good as this. This is a postcard. That's just a photo. This is a poster. This is a really nice image, and it's very easy to create. All I did is highlight the background and tell Photoshop to add some colorful flowers, and then I added some more colorful flowers by just telling Photoshop, hey, drop a flower here, drop one here, add color here, remove this. And that's all I had to do, and then I had my image. All right, so is this cheating? I'd say this is cheating, because this photo doesn't exist. I mean, the file exists, but what it depicts doesn't exist. There's no problem with doing this, but posting this somewhere online and saying, hey, I took this picture, that would be a lie. I wouldn't want to do that. I might post it and say, hey, I took this picture and then I modified it with AI. What do you guys think? That's a different story. But not telling people that half of, I don't know, 3/4 of this image is completely fake, that doesn't seem very honest and truthful. And I have some other examples that I find pretty amazing. This image is also pretty fake. I'll show you how much of this is generated by the AI. Are you ready? All of that isn't real. All of that was created by Photoshop within 3 minutes. All I did was extend the frame and tell Photoshop to fill it for me. The original picture that I took was that. This is the original photo that I took. It's a hoverfly, it's a nice image, I like it. So what would you say? If I clean this image up and then I post it online and don't tell anyone how I generated this image, am I cheating? Or am I just a modern photographer? Is this what photography is now? Is this how the art form of photography progresses naturally? Nobody has a problem using the clone stamp tool. Nobody has a problem with removing people from the background of an image. We adjust colors all the time. We shoot our photos in RAW so we can play around with the colors more. How is this different? Where is the line? I genuinely don't know, and I'm very curious to see how this develops in the future. But AI is a powerful tool that I use in my workflows. I don't use it to this extent, but fixing focus stacks and extending the frame, at least the outer focus and background parts of the frame, that's something I do a lot now. There's more. There's even more. I have an image that I haven't tried out yet. Here's another hoverfly, this one too, but I want to try this image out. I don't know what Photoshop's going to do with this. I just want to see if it can extend the frame for me as well. So let's just move this up. I would want to go even further, like this. That could make a nice image, because as it is, that's not a good photo. Obviously the hoverfly is sharp, the colors are nice, everything worked out well, but the composition is just off because half the bug is missing. That's why this isn't a winner photo for me, but I have the file, so let's see what happens. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to highlight the actual photo I took, and then I'm just going to inverse the selection, and I'm going to tell Photoshop to fill it. Let's see what happens. Okay, that is interesting. I don't know, this... What do you think? Does this work? It definitely, it could be worse. I could say that much. That's nearly a good image. There's just a little bit of information missing in the wing, but it's not much. I mean, think about it. If I posted that to Instagram, would I get away with it? Would people look at that image and say, oh, great photo, awesome shot, you managed to capture the whole hoverfly? Or would someone go, hey, wait a minute, there's a little piece of wing missing, I think the image is fake? Obviously, I'm not going to post this image, at least not without telling people that most of it was generated by AI. But it's pretty amazing what this is capable of. Of course, I want to know now, the other hoverfly that I have, this one. What will Photoshop do with this one? If I just extend the frame down here like this, there's a piece of flower missing, there is a little bit of the body missing, there's wing missing again. So, can the AI generate this or not? Let's see what happens. Wow, okay, that is interesting. Ironically, the wing is still cut off in all the options, yeah. Ooh, number 3. Yeah, number 3, the flower, perfect. All right, let's trust the process. Apparently, Photoshop says the wing is longer than I thought it was going to be, so I'll just extend the frame a little bit more. And we'll play the same game again. Highlight, reverse, fill, and fill. And let's see what happens. What does Photoshop, what's it gonna do? Wow, okay, I might be out of my job. Luckily, I'm not a professional photographer, I'm only a hobby photographer. If I was a professional photographer, I would be worried about my job at this point, because that is perfect. That is pretty much perfect. The image itself I still don't like it. The composition is still a little bit off. I'd have to probably extend it up on the top left corner as well, move everything over a little bit. But wow, Photoshop has generated the wing perfectly, and the background and everything else, and the flower as well. And again, I need to ask the question, is this cheating? Is this still photo editing? Or is this something completely different? Okay, let's move on to the last use case. This is the crazy use case. Let's just imagine we want to change everything about an image. So I have this jumping spider in this purple container. What exactly would happen if I tell Photoshop to get rid of the container and replace it branches and bushes? That might work. I highly doubt this is going to work. I mean, I've seen people use this AI stuff to switch clothing, to add new objects to images and so on, but whoa. That is really interesting. Yeah, because it kept the color and just, dude, that is, yeah, I'm a little bit speechless right now, I have to admit. This one works really well. I kind of like the trippy purpleness of the image, but wow. That, so here's what's fascinating for me about this image in particular. The composition works very well, rule of thirds, position of the spider, awesome. The thing is, if you look at this image, what you see is a dried out bush with a jumping spider hanging onto one of these twigs. In the background, what looks like a twilight sky, almost like a gloomy sunset kind of thing going on. Like you can, I don't know if you see it the way I see it, but basically there's a horizon line here and a cloudy sky up here, right? Here's what's fascinating. Technically, this image, I think, is impossible. The scale is completely off. This feels more like a telephoto portrait at 200 millimeters, f2.8 shot of a jumping spider about the size of my head. It's not a macro photo anymore because of the way it reads. Maybe it's just me, maybe you see it too. If you see it too, then maybe you understand what I mean. That's really trippy for me as someone who's seen a lot of macro photos and knows what they actually look like and what they're supposed to look like. Yeah, it looks fake and real at the same time. That is amazing. I'm definitely going to keep this image. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but wow. This image of the jumping spider is definitely a good image to end the video on. And I'm going to leave you with the question that's been bugging me all week. Is this cheating? Is this still photography? If it isn't photography, what is this? This photo of the jumping spider, who does it belong to? Is this mine? Is this my artwork? Did I create this? I really don't know. I like the image. I might even print it out and hang it up because it's kind of cool. And it can be a great talking piece because people will look at this and go, wow. And then I can say, yeah, it's fake. I didn't actually take that one. All right, I'm going to play around with this even more, but I'm going to end the video now. So glad you stuck around. I hope that it was interesting for you. I find this fascinating and it's amazing technology to play around with. So if you enjoyed the video, consider liking it, subscribing to the channel, and definitely leave a comment. I want to know your thoughts on this technology, on this whole process, this image, the other images. Share your thoughts. Let's discuss the whole ethical dilemma that AI has created for us in photography. Bye.